What's up YouTube? I have a really fun and amazing video for you guys today. My friend Lisa, myself, and good old little Dixie, my chocolate lab puppy, headed up to Alaska. Goal was to find some moose sheds. Lisa has a friend who is a pilot, this float plane pilot here. His name is Buck and he runs Hidden Alaska Guide Services. He is amazing. I highly recommend checking him out. We took off to head to Buck's really amazing, really out there in the Alaskan bush little lodge camp set up. So Buck has been working on this property, building different lodges and all of that for years. I'm talking years and years now, and it really shows all his hard work. This place is absolutely amazing, as you guys will see. It sits on a lake, literally in the middle of the bush. No service, no people around. Definitely my type of vacation. Now, we headed out with hopes of finding moose sheds. We didn't actually end up finding any on the trip, which is totally okay. We went out in early June, and things were just a little grown, little hot. Really, I think the fact that things were grown was my hardest issue in finding them. I hiked really hard each day, putting on over 8 miles with my dog Dixie, but the grasses were just a little high. I didn't have any luck, but that didn't matter to me. I was just there to have a great time in Alaska with good people and a good dog. The flight into camp was over an hour, so we were really back there in the backcountry, or the Alaskan bush, whatever you'd like to call it. The views the whole way were absolutely breathtaking. It was just one of those trips where I was really lucky to be alive, feeling really lucky to experience these type of situations and experiences, to be way out here with good people. Like I said, it really was such an amazing and special trip, and it was well needed in my busy lifestyle. So here we are about to land on the lake that sits right in front of Buck's lodge. Now, Buck has a couple different cabins and buildings, and he does moose hunts, sheep hunts, bear hunts, you name it, and his clients stay right here in the lodge and hunt out of this area. We loaded everything off the float plane and headed up to the cabins. Dixie was a little pooped, as you can tell from the airplane ride. She did really well, despite falling off while eating her food here. Oops, Dixie. But she was right back to her normal self, and I can definitely tell you guys that seeing her in Alaska was really special. I could tell she really loved all of the moose and bear smells and wolf smells, and she was just in her little piece of paradise. I even enjoyed a couple porch naps with her, and I definitely threw plenty of sticks. Buck took off and left us at the lodge. We enjoyed a little fishing trip in his John boat out on the lake and saw this moose here. I do want to remind you guys that something very important in Alaska is bringing your Zoleo with you. Not just in Alaska, I bring my Zoleo everywhere, and if you guys saw one of my most recent videos, I actually got stranded in Lake Powell, and Zoleo was really the only way that I knew the perfect weather window to get out. So if you guys want more information on Zoleo, click the link in the description box. The first day that Dixie and I got a full day hiking, we ended up doing just a little over 8 miles. This was when I first realized this moose shed hunting here was not going to be as easy as I thought it was. Lisa and I had went to a totally different spot in Alaska the year before, and we just hit the jackpot. We did really well with moose sheds. This area seemed to have a little bit more country. There was definitely a ton of moose, but they were few and far between compared to the amount of country. And because we were there later in the year, everything was just really grown. I even got a short little nap in with my pup Dixie, and of course we had a good time. But overall, I could just say I could not believe how thick it was. Definitely dangerous with the grizzlies and brown bear and moose and wolves being out there to be in such thick grown country. So I was glad that I had my Zoleo and all my other safety devices on me for the entire trip. as we headed out to go back to Anchorage and take the actual commercial airplane back to Utah, we actually ran into some really dark, really low clouds. Everyone on the radios that I was hearing while in the float plane was saying that it was bad news, so we actually had to make a last minute decision and land at a random lake in the middle of nowhere, just a little while into our journey back to Anchorage for our flight. Luckily, we had plenty of time before our flight took off to take us back to Utah, so we made the best of it. We were stranded at a lake, literally in the middle of nowhere. Dixie and I threw some sticks, we had some fun, we waited it out, and most importantly, I had my Zoleo on me, so I was able to look at the weather, see when the fog and the weather was going to burn off, and see when our window would be to leave. I thought this was pretty funny because I was just stranded in Lake Powell with Lisa before this trip, and now here Lisa and I are again stranded in Alaska. I think we had a little stretch of bad luck, but really I'm not even going to consider it bad luck because these weather things just happen when you're in desolate places, and we were totally safe, so I can't complain at all. The low fog and dark clouds ended up being worse than we thought. After we waited for a little while and checked the weather, we figured we'd peek up and try it again, but as soon as we got into the air, Buck said it was no good. So we had to land for the second time at this lake in the middle of nowhere, still keeping in touch with my family and my boyfriend on my Zoleo device, and we waited it out yet again. We weren't there too long before Buck had the great idea. Let's just go back to the lodge. Let's have some hot dogs, some spaghetti, some food, take a little porch nap, wait this out, and then head back out. He had a couple gas cans back at the lodge, which was going to help us after all this taking off and landing, so it was really the best decision. Here we are going back to the lodge to wait it out, and I just want to say, we got on this trip and knew that Buck was already an amazing, experienced pilot, but I was really impressed with his decision making. He knew we wanted to go home, he wanted to go home, but despite that, he trusted his gut, didn't put us or himself in danger, and that's just what you call a good pilot, ladies and gentlemen. We ended up making it back just in time to get some oysters and dinner with our friend in Anchorage, and then we headed out to Salt Lake City.